the next one is a more recent one. Actually, I haven't seen too many people talk about this. I don't know why. Because to be honest, this to me is my favorite. Well, maybe not my favorite. My second favorite though. Horror movie of from 2000 up to now. I don't like a lot of horror movies these days, but this one I thought was freaking amazing. Nailed it on the head with this one. Who directed this one? I don't ever remember his name. David Slade, which I haven't seen him. I never knew about him before this, and I haven't really seen him anything he's done since then. But 30 Days of Night, that's what he did in 2007, I believe. And it's just awesome, so awesome. And it came from a novel. And like recently, my friend, I told him about the movie. He never heard about it, and he was like, "Oh, there's been so many movies like that," but I've never heard of that. And I knew about this phenomenon that in Alaska, apparently in a place Barrow, Alaska, for like 30 days, once every year, they have no sunlight because of the location of where they're at. So these vampires use that to their advantage, and they come like on a big, like a big oiler ship, and they use this one human, regular person that's not a vampire, and they use him to go in when the sun is still up, like the last day of sun, and he's supposed to make sure that people can't leave and have no communication. So the guy goes into town, and it's a very small town, and people are leaving, but some people stay. So he goes in there and he burns up the phones, he kills the sled dogs, he rips the engine out of the helicopter so nobody can leave. And he's doing all this because these vampires are going to invade, and they don't want anybody to be able to leave or to call for help or anything like that. So this movie, I think, is really great because these vampires are, at least in my opinion, I think that's how they would be if they were real. Because in Blade, I don't know, for me, Blade's okay. I never saw the third one. I saw 1 and 2. 2 is really good. 2 is the only Blade one I think you consider a real horror movie. The other ones are not really horror movies. They're just action movies. But 2 is good. But in Blade, you know, like, freaking vampires going to parties and, you know, raves and all this type of stuff and doing stupid stuff. And this is, to me, it says in the front, I agree with this at least. Maybe it's not the best vampire movie. To me it is. To me this is the best vampire movie. But it's the most terrifying because you can't really think of a more terrifying vampire movie. If you've seen this, you know what I'm talking about. In Blade, they're not really scary. And it kind of dumps it down because they're all scared of Blade. They're always running from him and stuff like that. At least smaller ones are. In an interview with the vampire, you know, they're all sophisticated and stuff like that. And plus they're played by actors that we know. So seeing them, it kind of kills it. But in this movie, you don't really know most of the actors that play vampires, except for Danny Huston or Danny Houston, whatever his name is. But the vampires are awesome, man. They got shark teeth. They don't have fangs. They speak some crazy language, and they're just ruthless. You know, they don't make deals with people. And once they trap them there, and they're there for 30 days a night, they're just like, you know, slowly picking them off, and then there's just one cool shot. I'm pretty sure it might be some CG, but it's like a helicopter flyby shot, and it's just like you can just see rampage and slaughter ensuing, and people shooting the vampires with shotguns and all that type of stuff. But especially the lead pack of like 4 of them are terrifying, bro, and it's just really bloody. Maybe a little bit of CG, but not like bad CG. But I thought it was amazing. I thought it was the best horror movie I've seen in this 2000 to 2011. It was amazing. And the next one is my favorite movie. I think my favorite movie, period. Maybe some people won't agree with me on this one, but it's just my opinion. It's my style. And besides 30 Days a Night, that's my second favorite of 2000s. Which is, I guess you would call it, it's kind of like a horror comedy, but it's also got action. It's like a horror action comedy or whatever. It's not that corny though. The comedy is more like, you know, silly, but not really like stuff like that. But anyway, it's Robert Rodriguez's Planet Terror, and that's the one with the girl with the gun on her leg, which I thought was an amazing idea. And I think I seen in an interview somewhere where some guy he said it right. Like, I think the reason these movies didn't do good is a lot of people didn't get the reference to Grindhouse, and they should have maybe called it. I didn't even know what it was, but when this movie came out, like, there's so much I started researching, and I found out. And I bought the book of this also that has the other one, Death Proof, has like about their movies and screenplays and whatnot. But I think they should have called it like Drive-In or something like that, which it might not have sounded as cool, but people would have got the reference more, and then they would have been like, oh, okay, I'll go see this, and then maybe it would have done better. Me, though, I don't really measure a movie on how well it does in the box office. If it does well, that just means that people want to go see it. You know, I think Cloverfield did well at first, but that's just because the trailer intrigued people. They wanted to see the monster and stuff like that. But even though this movie didn't do good, I don't care what people say. This is my favorite freaking movie. Like, for me, my style, I love it. I love zombies. I love a lot of action. I love Rose McGowan, Josh Brolin. Bruce Willis has a small cameo, like, in the beginning and then at the very, very end. Freddie Rodriguez hasn't done most stuff. He never did a movie like this, but he did really freaking good. He's really small, so, like, in the beginning when they first revealed him, like, he hops off this truck to go up to the restaurant, and it's a big, like, tow truck, and he hops down. He's so little. They probably could have done, like, more low angles to make him look bigger, but it's believable. He's a badass. But if you haven't seen this movie, it's, you know, your typical movie, like 80s style zombie movie. At least with the way that zombies come about happening, it's just like a chemical that the government creates, and it gets loose, and whoever breathes it in turns to a zombie. But these zombies in this movie, some of them, they move slow most of the time, but some of them can move fast. But it's also about the whole time that's going on. You know, you got the gas escapes, and a bunch of survivors get together to try to survive and get somewhere where it's safe. And at the same time, Bruce Willis, he's like an army official or whatever. So him and his team, way back when this first started happening, they got hit with the gas, and you know, it makes you mutate. But if you get small doses of it, you know, you can maintain and stay human. So they're out looking for the gas because they want it to, you know, stay regular. And other people, they want to go and they want to destroy it because, you know, they don't want it to get out and hurt more people and stuff like that. It's freaking amazing. There's so much good action in this movie, and when they shoot the zombies or anybody at all in general, it's just like a gallon of blood, and it's not like nasty. It's just like, you know, it's really funny too. I thought it was really good. It's amazing. I cannot say enough about this movie, and I love Robert Rodriguez. He's my favorite filmmaker because he is hands-on. He does freaking everything. He directs, he writes, he edits, he does the music, all that, man. He even does the posters and stuff like that. I think he's doing it the best right now. And I also got this recently too, which is, it's the same thing. It's the DVD 2-disc of the Grindhouse Special Edition, and it's got both movies. On this first disc, this is the films, which is the other one's Death Proof. I didn't bring that one. That's not a horror movie, but it's Death Proof. And the other one's got all the special features. Like, they made like 3 mock trailers. One was directed by Eli Roth, the guy that made Hostel and Cabin Fever. And it was really good. I want to see that movie. I want to see Thanksgiving. That movie looks good. They'll probably never make that movie though, especially since these flopped. But yeah, you should definitely check this movie out if you like bloody, action-filled, funny zombie movies. Are awesome. I got 2 more before I'm done. Another one, and I know this guy talks about this movie a lot too. There's another one that I like a sequel better than the first one. The first one was really cool. Nothing wrong with the first one. Actually, like, the first one is maybe here, and to me the second one's just a little bit above it. For me, it's just it's a preference thing. Like, the first one was really good, typical 80s zombie movie. But this one, I thought, like, you know, since they got out more, the first one takes place in this small little area, and for me, when the movie has no change of scenery, like, a lot has to be going on for me to be really interested, and I felt like it didn't. You know, nothing wrong. I still love the movie, but if more would have been going on, or like a change of scenery, or like more chases, then it would have been better. But for me, this movie's better because it's the same thing. I'll just show it so you people can know. It's Return of the Living Dead Part 2. What year is this from? This is this is 87. Okay, so the original part came out like 85 or something like that. This is just like the original, and then the funny thing is they even have 2 characters from the first one that got infected with the zombie gas or whatever they got. I forget, how did they get it? Yeah, the gas. They inhaled the gas, and they end up dying in those movies. They're turned into zombies. You never see what happens to them. This movie, they're back, the same 2 characters, and they go to a grave site, and one of the guys, the older guy, his thing is, at least it's like an odd job or whatever. He goes into people's like mausoleum, takes the body out, takes jewelry from them, pockets it, and then takes the skulls to, like, some people want to buy a skull. I think it's like a college or something like that. So he does that, and then when they're doing that, these kids are chasing this other kid. They're bullying him, and they find one of the freaking tanks of the gas, and it has a body in it, and they bust it open, and it spews the gas, and this kid gets infected. But then the gas goes into the sky, and again the same thing happens. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it rains. and it rains, and the gas gets into the rain and goes into the ground to the cemetery, and it causes all the people that are dead in the ground to come back to life as zombies. And it's like in this little it looks like like they're just building like houses, like a little complex, and there's a couple of houses there, but a lot of them are being built still, so there's not like a lot of supervision around, which I love movies like that, where you don't go, well, wait a minute, that kid wouldn't be doing that because where are his parents and stuff like that. Like, they completely cut that out because not a lot of people live there. And I think like the main family, which is like this girl and her little brother, their parents are out of town, and this other guy comes, he's just like the cable man or whatever. So zombies start going on, and they gotta run, and they borrow this doctor's car, and they go to the hospital, and there's zombies there, and they're running back and forth, and it's got a lot of comedy. It's mainly an action comedy, and it's 80s movie style, so it's like cheesy, and the music is really good. I thought it was amazing, and I love this movie. I love 80s zombie movies. Like I said, the first one was good, but for me, at least the second one was better. I think the second one is funnier too. That's another reason I liked it. So it's awesome. You should see this movie.